and we are doing better. I feel like I. Hey, it's time we do better, and we are doing better. I feel like our ancestors and our elders, they depend on us, and so does the youth too. So the greatest thing I can do is to lead by example, to lead with my action. Hey, it's time we do better, and we are doing better. I feel like our ancestors and our elders, they depend on us, and so does the youth too. So the greatest thing I can do is to lead by example, to lead with my actions, and let the words follow. This is STEM. But what does it mean? Thank you for asking. This is STEM. 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 Science. Science. Technology. Technology. Engineering. Engineering. Mathematics. Mathematics. This is STEM. 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 Science. Science. Technology. Technology. Engineering. Engineering. Mathematics. Mathematics. Science. Provides water and food, provides energy and entertainment too. Technology to communicate and survive, helps you breathe, keeping your family alive. Engineering for medicine and space, help build the engine to transport to a place. Mathematics, gotta get the money right, numbers and stats, we gotta keep it tight. This is STEM, 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 this is STEM. Science, science, technology, technology, engineering, engineering, mathematics, mathematics. This is STEM, 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 this is STEM. Science, science, technology, technology, engineering, engineering, mathematics, mathematics. Gotta get the money right, mathematics. Building cars and phones, engineering. The internet and software, technology. Anatomy and cells, science. Gotta be great, gotta be better. Like a hamster wheel, we've been running in place. Buying brands we don't need. Wasting economic power to succeed. Sports and entertainment's cool, but what about STEM and staying in school? What about leading and doing more? And so the next generation know that more is in store. STEM. Okay. All right. I wonder if that's gonna have echo on echo because it's playing, but then it's catching from here. So I might mute mine while that's playing. But we're here. Different format, as you guys can see, and we're doing better. You know, we're getting better and we're doing better. All right. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today on the 14th is 1, coping skills, 2, criminal law, justice, and 3, a film review. Today's going to be really simple, to the point. This is practice. This is getting better. This is the weekly Wednesday webinar. It's a new format. You can see I'm punching new buttons and I'm getting better, and I'm going to continue to extract information from myself so that you can be better as well. So before we do anything, affirmations. I always start with affirmations. I am. What are you? I'll lead by example to show you. So what I usually do is start with 1 or 2 positives and 1 or 2 negatives as well. So I am amazing. Why? Because I'm stable, I'm consistent. My family financially and emotionally depends on me, and I'm holding it down. And I know I could be better, but we'll get to that. I am fantastic. Why am I fantastic? Because I'm here with you all. We could be doing anything with anybody, but I'm here with you, and I accept that. I accept that we're getting better. And let's get to the more darker sets. I am unreliable. I give myself a lot. I commit myself overly, and I'm learning to not commit as much. I see some snow coming down. To not commit as much, and that's okay. You don't have to commit, okay? What you have to do is
Do things that's best for you. Okay, I like right here, standing right here. Okay, yeah, I'm right here. I like doing what's best for you, and then from there, standing on it. So I can kind of stand a little closer, right there. So I'm not. So maybe have this over here and utilize this board a little better. But to commit to you, if people won't like it, it doesn't matter. Um, when you're wealthy, everybody's gonna be a fan, and when you're struggling, no one will. It's the reality. Another thing is I am my time management. I'm getting a lot better, while at the same time a lot worse in a lot of different instances. Like right now, I could be doing a lot of different things with my time, but I'm here. I'm using it in this way, and I'm okay with that. You know, this is getting better. This is practice. This is a new format, and I'm smiling. I look quite dapper myself, if I'm gonna say so. But it's just about getting better, leading by example, and continuing to do the things that we're supposed to do. You understand? But how do we combat these? So we have them. Amazing, because my family depends on me, and I can maybe even write like a little note down with it. Amazing. Why? Because of family. Fantastic, because of my endeavors. Unreliable, because I overcommit. Time management, um, and that comes to discipline. And so, how do I reinforce these? Okay, how do I make these better? Well, my family is continue to do that because I'm weak without my family. My family gives me strength, and I give my family strength at the same time. And so I heard a quote from The Godfather. I said, "A man that doesn't spend time with his family can never truly be a man." You can hang on to that one. My endeavors. I mean, what the podcast, the webinar weekly Wednesdays, which is this is a practice episode. Just getting better with myself. The entertainment company, films, books, music. At the same time, the Peace First nonprofit, a vocational nonprofit, the criminal law organization, the Black Excellence Gallery. So it's a plethora of things that I'm doing. While at the same time, I could be doing more, it could be doing less, it could be doing better. So overcommitting, don't commit unless you're willing to stand on it. That's one thing I'm learning. If I'm not standing 10 toes on it, I want nothing to do with it. Even if it could be helpful, even if I can, like I'm a hoarder myself. I don't let go of things very easily. I'm learning to let things go, even if I know I can use it, let it go. Because if I'm not going to fully commit, I'm doing myself a disservice and those who depend on me and my commitment and skills to, I'm doing them a disservice by not giving myself fully. Time management and discipline. Actually, I've incorporated a system. I go to bed at 11. And so at 10 p.m., my kids are usually asleep, 9:30, 10. And so usually from 9:30 to 10, that's my shower. That's my me time. At 10 o'clock, it's time to read 10 pages at least from any book in my home. Criminal law, it could be human anatomy, it could be victimology, it could be prescription pills and medicine and how it affects the internal organs and the functions. So it's about just being intentional with that. So from 10 to 10:30, I'm reading my books. 10 pages at least. If I want to do less, I won't. If I want to do more, I will. See the difference? The In addition to that is I work on curriculum from 10:30 to 11. So that means I'm creating different assignments. I'm getting the correctional and the community class organized. That should be by next July. I have some some additional things I want to add within it so I get the most bang for my buck. And the community gets the bang for the buck too. I could be ready now for the curriculum. But I want it to be better. I want it to be more, and it's going to be more because I've committed myself to it. Okay? And this every day doing this. Two things I like, two things I don't like with a partner, with yourself, and getting better. If you get worse, that's okay too. Be intentional with getting better. Okay, and that leads me to coping skills. What are coping skills? Coping skills are skills that you use to get through stress. You're gonna go through trauma. You're gonna be abandoned, neglected, taken advantage of. How do you cope? You're gonna be inconvenienced. You're gonna have surprise expenses come out of your account. How do you cope? So a coping skill is a skill that you use to cope, or a skill that you use to minimize or to resettle after the trauma. Okay. Now, for instance, let's write some down. Some coping skills could be content creation. They could be reading, writing, making music, making a webinar like we are now. It could be going outside in the rain. It's snowing right now. It could be cleaning. Let's put that. It could be cleaning. It could be organizing. So we have reading, writing, making videos, making music, cleaning, organizing. One thing I like to do if I'm getting personal is I like 12 when everybody's sleeping in the house. I like to dress up like I'm going to a banquet or a nonprofit fundraising event. Like for instance, I went to sleep in this. I woke up like this, and I love it. I love to look in the mirror and to see excellence. I love to see, sophistication. You get what I'm saying? So it's just about loving what I see, doing what works for me. And so this is one of my favorite ones. Is what would you call that? Getting dressed, getting dapper. I like that. We get dapper. So 1 a.m, I might be wearing a suit and tie and reading in my study just because I like how it feels. I like the mood it puts me in. I like how this looks on me. You see the cufflinks. It's just something different. That's all. And the reason I wanted to highlight this briefly is just to extract as much information from me as possible. I don't want to diet my information. I'm not really focused on selling it all, and so I make the most amount of money from it. No, the money's going to come by staying true and by being consistent. And this is my telemarketer. This is how you answer the phone. This is Mr. Omari. And you hang up. This is so and so. What do you need from me? I'm hanging up the phone. Take it personally if you want to, or don't take it personally. I'm okay with either one. And the biggest thing so the 3 things we're going over are some affirmations, and that could be a coping skill too. Coping skills themselves, we talked about content creation, music, songs, books, films, cleaning and organizing your house, your home, your phone, your devices, and getting dapper. I put that one in there. Criminal law, criminal justice leads me to this. And the biggest thing I wanted to touch on briefly, remember this is brief. I'm not here to give a whole lecture. What I am here to do is talk to you. What I am here to do is provide this information, and from there you'll decide what you want to do. So the criminal law, justice, the biggest thing is the difference between PC, so that's probable cause. And I'm not sure how these colors are turning up on your screen, if you can see them, but I can always provide some notes as well. So probable cause and reasonable suspicion. Why are these important? These are important because these are the foundation of the criminal justice, criminal law infrastructure. Without these, you have nothing. Without these, you have cases that are going to be waived and overruled because of the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. What is it? Well, it's where that evidence, and for the physical or testimonial, physical evidence is DNA. It's you dropping something. It's fingerprints of that nature. Or artifacts from that person that's very unique in its own way to that person. Like for instance, if you see me with this red sweater, it's documented, and then at a crime scene they find the same red sweater. Well, yeah, we can add 2 and 2 and take some of the fibers off the clothing in my car, because the Logard's exchange principle says 2 things that come in contact with each other leave traces of each other. So my car's fibers are on this, and while at the same time my car has fibers of this. So what they would do is extract these fibers, take some from our car, run through, and see if there's a match. Okay. So back to the fruits of the poisonous tree doctrine. It states that anything gained illegally or illegitimately cannot be used in a court of law, which means that a lot of cases that might be predicated or dependent upon these, they won't be able to use them because they'll be illegitimate and subject to discrepancy. Okay. And so back to probable cause. Probable cause is a cause that's probable. Let's break it down even more. Doing something that makes sense. Okay. It's probable cause for me to pick up a piece of trash in my class. It's probable cause for me to change my kid's diaper when it smells. Okay. I smell something that smells like a diaper. I have cause that's probable to check in each diaper to see where it came from or originated from, because a natural house, it doesn't smell that way. Okay. Reasonable suspicion is a suspicion that's reasonable. I suspect something's happened, and yet remember, reasonable suspicion is biased. That's not consistent. That's based on people's values, on the culture, training and personal life experiences that's really hard to articulate and it's really hard to reproduce. Probable cause can't be reproduced. That means you're running a red light. Probable cause. You have a blinker on your tail light that's flickering, which means it's not working. It's ineffective, essentially. That's probable cause. Seeing someone, three, four men walking back and forth, dressed in concealing clothing, back and forth, looking at a building establishment. That could be probable cause too that they're casing. Okay, or reasonable suspicion, just depending on the facts at play. Okay, so the reason I give this to you is reasonable suspicion is what every officer has, and I'm saying this as a preventative tool, as an educational tool, so that we get better and better each time. Every time I come on here, we're going to reinforce the old knowledge, add new ones, and so that way, even if this isn't your specialty or what you love to do, we still build up our skills and we still build up and get better and better because that's the key. This is why we're here. Every week, Wednesday, if not for 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45, I would say, let's get better about it. Let's get better, do better, and be genuine within yourself and live with the consequences and repercussions and the rewards. Hang on to that. Okay, so let's go back through what we went through. We went through the positive affirmations. Okay, positive affirmations are a coping skill. All right, amazing. Why? Because I'll take care of my family. Fantastic. Why? Because my endeavors that I'm with, my extracurriculars. Unreliable. Why? Because I overcommit a lot. I want to give all of myself, and I don't deserve to give all of myself. If people really want the information, they can come to the webinar. They can come to me. I was told by a great man, master yourself and the world will come to you. You're here, aren't you? Time management, being disciplined, is building certain things within my system, within my schedule that reinforces that. Waking up the same time every day. Even if I wake up at 5 a.m., walk around my house once, get a drink of water and go to bed. It's the fact that I'm doing it consistently. And that's going to subconsciously seep into other endeavors and other things that I'm doing in my life because I'm building that foundation. I'm feeding that wolf that I want to be fed. I can do the nonsense wolf, the productive wolf. It just depends on you and what you're willing to die on, what you're willing to die with. All right. So the coping skills, we talked about one, which is affirmations. So the coping skills, content creation, films, books, music, cleaning and organizing your devices, your home, your car, whatever you feel and what works for you and is feasible for you. Okay. Getting dapper. That's me at 2 a.m. That's me at 11. I like to wear a suit and tie. Go nowhere. I might wear a suit and tie, go take out the trash, or wear a suit and tie, go look in the mirror for 10 minutes and talk to myself like I'm doing now. It's just, I'm a little strange and I accept it. Yeah. The probable cause justice. Probable cause, remember, that's a cause. The answer is always in the question, not always. The answer is vast majority of the time in the question, okay? Probable cause is a cause that's probable. Probable. So it's a reason for doing something that makes sense. I need gas when I go to the gas station. Just call me now, my wife, a blood institute. I'm being summoned. Reasonable suspicion is a suspicion that's reasonable. Now, if they had facts, if they had evidence, it would be probable cause. They don't. So reasonable suspicion is the foundational level to get anything. Okay? You get pulled over. Oh, you guys are acting suspicious. Are you guys okay? Now, that means that they really don't have anything to go off of, and they're seeking it. They're fishing for it. One thing I want you to be aware of is called the plain view doctrine. That states that any member or representative of the criminal justice institution, if they see anything and it's in plain sight, as in they don't have to dig or search, because then you need a warrant. I believe that's important. Amendment is search and seizures. If fifth is due process, I'm getting better while remembering the similar things that came back to me. The reasonable plain view doctrine, I lost my train of thought, is when they can see something that's in plain view. So they can get probable cause based off the plain view doctrine, and they could be working on reasonable suspicion. So they could be at reasonable suspicion, which means they really can't stop you. They can have a conversation if you're willing to engage. You're not being seized, you're not being arrested, you're not being withheld. So that's where probable cause comes in. Reasonable suspicion is hello, sir, how are you doing type situation. Frankly, I don't want to talk. I understand that you're an adult and you have a job to do. And I thank you for doing this dangerous job because I'm going to call them if my home gets broken into. First, I'm going to protect myself and depend on myself and my own skills, my own the things I have and the tools I have at home. Then I'm going to call you because I need you to be involved. This is your job to be involved. So we're not friends. You're here to do a job. Um, I can and will treat you respectfully as a human being. So I think everybody deserves that until they deem or prove that they're not worth it. In me, I still am going to treat you with respect. If you cross a certain line, I'm going to remove myself. If we need to um, act as animals, then we can. But I'm gonna make it home to my kids, so I'm gonna be preventive in nature. Okay. So reasonable suspicion, a suspicion or thinking something happens without evidence, but it's reasonable, so it kind of makes sense. Probable cause is a cause that's probable. They're doing something because it makes sense and they have evidence that they can articulate on paper and in court. Okay? And the last one is the film review. Wakanda Forever. I saw it, I enjoyed it, and I'm just gonna give a brief synopsis of it. I'm not going through every scene. That's not my intent. My intent is just to share a little bit. Because I know in the Specificity podcast with King Thomas, we talked about, you can find that at the website as well. We talked about what goes into making a film, from budget to organization to pre-production, post-production, to budgets to organization, the type of team you want, the lighting, the technology. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation, that podcast conversation, because we touched on things similar to this. So why'd you enjoy the movie? I enjoyed the movie because with that franchise, they have a way of tying in my emotions with the development of a character. And what do I mean by that? I mean that when they introduce this character, it has a certain theme, it has a certain vibe that they carry by the way they say things, by the camera pans, by the theme music that they use within the characters themselves. And I love character development. That is my number one when it comes to films. That is my number one thing that I thoroughly enjoy is character development, how they build a character, the pros and cons of that character, the trauma they face, and how it ties into future scenes, and how the present scene is going to be alluded to in a flashback in future scenes, or in that present time, how something's introduced as a foreshadowing effect. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I think that the characters were well fleshed out. I think M'Baku is his name, the big gorilla. He's a Black Panther now, so shout out to him for that level up. And I think it's the dialogue are you gonna enjoy. Now, what I didn't like how the next movie isn't out yet. This movie was not the conclusion. This movie was a stepping stone to the third or fourth film. This is building the character development. This is building flashback scenes. This is building foreshadowing scenes that you can allude to. Every conversation can be a flashback. Every conflict can be a flashback. Every memory can be a flashback. All that trauma can be used to develop that character, to flesh them out, and to build onto them. So I think they did an amazing job. I would give it a 9.2 out of 10. It's not going to be the most exciting thing you've ever seen. You're not going to see a lot of Black Panther powers. This is the building of a character, the building of the sequel, the building of a trilogy. It's the foundational piece, which is really important to future films. It's a foundational piece. So let's briefly go through everything. We talked about our affirmations. I am amazing, fantastic, unreliable, and my time management is weak. And I listed why. And then things I can do to assist with that elevation. We talked about coping skills, content creation, films, books, music, cleaning and organizing your devices, your car, getting your home, getting dapper. That's me personally. I like to get dressed up when I'm by myself and nobody's around and look in the mirror and try out different ensembles. Like this one, I didn't even know this ensemble existed within my collection until I tried it out yesterday. Just trying out in different things that it might not work, but you see what I did. You see the result. Okay. Criminal law, justice. We talked about probable cause and reasonable suspicion. Remember, reasonable suspicion is the bottom piece. Okay, it is suspicion, a thought that is reasonable. It's a thought that makes sense. They don't have evidence yet, but based on certain things, it makes sense. A probable cause. This is the most important part of the criminal justice agency, the institution, criminal law. Probable cause, the foundational piece. Okay, it's a cause that's probable. It's an action or a reason for doing something that makes sense. That's likely that a person of sound thought would come to as well. And we talked about the film review, Wakanda Forever. It's the middle piece, the foundational piece to build character development. Any questions? I'll give about 30 seconds. What we're going to do is play one song, lead us out. I'm gonna do some reading while you all are here. I'll stay for another about 5 minutes, and I thank you guys for joining us on the weekly Wednesday webinar, Mr. Omari's room. Yeah, I'm playing with the House of Dragon, but you can't really see the sword, the dragon up there. So we'll leave it at weekly Wednesday webinars. So what we'll do now is we'll play a little music. I'm gonna mute myself, and I'll see you all next week. Oh, remember, the question for next week is, who am I? Who am I? So the question for next week, who am I? We'll address it at the top of the next segment. And again, thank you for joining us on the weekly Wednesday webinar.
How do you assess growth and progress? Is progress when you start to make money, or when the people start to follow you? Is growth when you start to produce high quality work, or when the work is easier to create? It's growth and progress.
Growth and progress. When you see the vision, you know it's gonna come true, cause you've been consistent. Growth and progress. When you must say no, and you tell them no, knowing they might go. Growth and progress. When it was in your mind, manifested what you wrote down, cause it was divine. Growth and progress. When you see what you create, you know that it's fake, so you can relate. Growth and progress. When it's time to go, because you know it's time to grow and show. Growth and progress. When you look in the mirror and you see it clear, obstacles won't hinder growth and progress. When you know that you're alone, embrace that only you and God will know. Growth and progress. And you know it will be okay. So focus and close your eyes and pray. Growth and progress. Embrace that you're different. Know it's the mission. So stay persistent. Growth and progress. Instead of focusing on shoes, focus on investments that will improve. Growth and progress. And put down the phone. Pick up a book. So something you will know. Growth and progress. Listen to the words. Take off the beat and observe growth and progress. And talk to the youth. Understand they will watch what you do. Growth and progress. And learn from the elders. They know how to endure the weather. Growth and progress. Stay true to you. Hear what they say, but watch what they do. Growth and progress. If you want things to change, be alone in the mirror and say growth and progress. So what are we going to do? They want us to lose, but we must improve. Growth and progress. Lead with the manner. Don't fold under pressure, cause you can handle growth and progress. And be who you be. Be unwavering, flexible to see growth and progress. And know you are loved. Tell yourself you're great with the big hug. Growth and progress. And know who you are. Understand that with confidence you will go far. Growth and progress.
What are we showing the youth? If they recreate it, what we show them, where will it lead them? It's time to do more with the billions we spend a year to fund our support and spend the power back toward us. Well, I thought he was done. Nah, I hope he will stop. Nah, I heard that he preached.
I thought he was done. Oh, they want him to stop. No, they say that he preaches. So I said that I'm teaching. I go. They want things to change. Message will stay the same. Master yourself, and the world will bend your way. I thought he was done. Whoa, they want him to stop. No, they say that he preaching. So I said that I'm teaching. I go. They want things to change. Message will stay the same. Master yourself, and the world will bend your way. No, they will be mad at you, no matter what you do. So love yourself. I'm talking unconditional, positive affirmations. Allow mental health to grow Insecurities minimized when trauma is exposed. No prescriptions needed, giving the kids to feel depleted instead of dealing with the root. Now they got us sweet tooth for pills with side effects. You lose, but we can win when we stop the blame, pretend, and mend. I thought he was done. Whoa, they want him to stop. No, they said that he preaching. So I said that I'm teaching. I go. They want things to change. Message will stay the